Pokopia is turning out to be a very interesting game indeed. I knew that this game would be huge the instant I saw it, right? But I could not have anticipated the massive mainstream success. Like, we're talking about something that has gone on to be the most critically acclaimed Pokemon game ever. Okay, it's not going to be the best selling of all time, I think. But the fact of the matter is that this is something that people are over the moon about after a long, long period of being told that these games were lazy and uncreative and uninnovative. This game merely existing is a huge counterpoint to that narrative. And I think something that people are going to be bringing up for a long, 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 long time is that this is probably one of the best like Pokemon spin-offs we've ever gotten, if not the best. Okay, this is something that just kind of baffles me, which is how much effort went into making it as good as it is. I think this is like more than like the best game of the year. I would say this is probably one of the best games of the decade. I certainly can't think of anything other than like maybe Tears of the Kingdom that has so much creativity and so much heart put behind it. It's remarkable. It's very, very interesting to see all this play out. But the thing that really interests me about it, and something that like I think a lot of people haven't really talked about yet, is the building aspect of it. You know, this is a game where you're literally building a civilization. Weren't we told when Palworld came out that one of the reasons it was so different and unique from Pokemon was this idea that like, whoa, you building mechanics, resource gathering, like arc gameplay, like that was something we were told when Palworld came out, is that like it innovated on the Pokemon formula because you can actually treat your Pokemon like slaves. Okay, like that was the argument for Palworld's existence, was this idea that like, whoa, it's a completely different genre and Pokemon doesn't do anything like it. So not only does Pokopia do the same thing, it does it better. You know, it's an actually finished product. It has better gameplay. It has a better gameplay loop. It has actual AI. You know, you have like organic character interactions. It actually feels like an actual community as opposed to you just taking advantage of slave labor. Okay, like Pokopia is very, very interesting in the sense where it feels more as if like the game is alive, because what you end up seeing is that characters, do things kind of spontaneously. You know, they discover like random Pokemon. They come up with ideas for what you can do next. You know, you interact with them. You start learning about things they can help you with and things they can do, and that just develops. That just grows and develops into this like this feeling that what you're doing is like cultivating this entire organic community. Like, it cannot be said enough about how much effort they put into to make the characters in this feel real. You know, like how much effort, like how much like building things and constructing things like feels like you're actually contributing to like, a higher calling. You know, how much like building things actually feels like what you're doing is amounting to something. I've long said that Dragon Quest Builders is super, super underrated because of how it allows you the chance to like build castles and defend it from like invading enemy forces. Like, to me, that was like a really cool twist and evolution over like what Minecraft does. And Pokopia, in a lot of ways, like from a pure building city sim perspective, there is no combat in this game. It's way better than that. You know, it actually feels like everything you do matters. It actually feels as if everything you do, every like plant you place, every habitat you build, every decoration every house you make, like it all feels like it's just slowly, slowly, slowly like cultivating your towns, because there are multiple towns in this game, into being this like organic, like lived in space with like all this stuff going on, and it feels as if the game is something that can go on indefinitely. And last night I kind of realized that like, this is better than what Palworld does. This is better than what Animal Crossing New Horizons does. This is like a major, 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 major cultural phenomenon. This is a huge deal. And it's something that like we really should talk about more as just being, you know, a genuinely great video game in general. And it seems like this is going to be the breaking point for a lot of people, because it feels like the Pokemon hate is officially over, the Switch 2 hate is officially over, and it feels like the last vestige of like Nintendo hate from the 90s is done now. You know, the Pokemon thing was kind of the last stand of Nintendo hate from the 2010 periods, and now there's not really a whole lot to complain about. You know, we saw with Metroid Prime 4 a game that like, you know, people like obsessively hated just how little something like that would really impact Nintendo in the long term. Like we've seen like, you know, games like ARMS, you know, initially be hated when they first came out, and now I'm almost certain that we are gonna get a new ARMS in the future. You know, like again, it feels like we'll never again be in that position we were in 2013 when like everything Nintendo was doing wasn't good enough, when everything was behind the times and everything was like outdated and everything was boring. You know, the masses were like, you know, obsessed with hating on Nintendo at that point. But it feels like now it's just never going to happen again. Like, not to that extent. Like, maybe we'll get like a bad game every now and then. But by and large, I think what we can expect from the company is just more games that just do exceedingly well. Like, games like this that innovate, that are interesting, that are fun, fresh, and exciting. And it's going to be very, very difficult to try and gaslight people that random indie games like Palworld are somehow more impressive than what Nintendo is doing. And that's always been my issue with Palworld as a concept. You know, the entire narrative that there was nothing Nintendo could do to compete with this, that this was the biggest game ever, that Palworld was going to destroy Pokemon, like that was obviously never going to happen. And yet we were told over and over and over again by online shills that it was almost a certainty that Pokemon was failing and that Palworld would take over. And it really was at its core nothing but clickbait. And now, add to the success of Pokopia, we can kind of see where that argument kind of led to. You know, the entire narrative that like, well, you can build things in Palworld, you know, like Pokopia has overshadowed it without even trying. Again, nobody else besides myself, who obsessively hates Palworld, nobody's talking about Palworld at all anymore. You know, nobody's even making the comparison. So not only do mainline Pokemon games outperform Palworld, they're also putting off spin-offs that do the civilization building thing better, that actually feel like a Pokemon game, that actually feel like they're putting more effort into it. It's something that more people really need to acknowledge, but Pokopia has destroyed Palworld.